this is the challenge, isn't it? If there's ways that you've always seen of doing things, it's like starting your own agency. If you model that on other agencies, then you're going to be really similar. So it's going to be very difficult to stand out with potential clients. Whereas if you go into it naively and you think about, okay, so these are the types of problems I want to solve for a client, and I'm going to do it in this way, and almost forget about everything that's gone before, that would hopefully set you apart. I think there's definitely a thing about being able to forget what's gone before or forget everything and then try and design from scratch.
I agree. I think I find it from a web optimization point of view. So let's take it back to web design, to UX, to CRO. All product detail pages look the same within e-commerce. Big image on the left, information on the right, big buy now button, information below the fold, etc., etc. I think that's designed from, say, Amazon, and we're so conditioned to using Amazon that, again, we base our experiences based on what we know in our security blankets. And therefore, to step outside of that is both very difficult for us as solution designers to conceive, but also B, users who react to it very much in the same way with the BBC homepage will I would assume, react negatively to something incredibly radical because they're not conditioned to that way of working or that way of thinking. And therefore, could that be considered a success or a failure? If you were to experiment with that, such a radical, I'm going to call it a vision, and I'll come back to that. If you experiment with that radical vision, you're most likely going to get negative feedback because of what I've just said. And there's a really good talk on YouTube by the head of product, I think it's at YouTube or at Google. It talks about versioning, visioning, and venturing, where versioning is the iteration of something. It's the changing of a color of a button. It's the movement of something from left to right. Venturing is venturing's over here. Venturing is your moonshot landing. It's the Google Glasses of the world. It's the AR application of something. And visioning is the redesign, is the BBC homepage. Is something that's radical and sits in between the two. And I find that fascinating, the way you react to different things. I just think as users we're conditioned to each of those things. So it's hard, as Duncan Wardle says, to step outside your river of thinking.